The evolution of planet Earth is no less thrilling than a sci-fi flick. From volcano eruptions to radical temperature changes and creepy organisms, it has been a very bumpy journey. Let's take a deep dive to explore and uncover 8 fascinating facts about the history of the Earth. Love-hate relationship between continents. Earth's landmasses had a yo-yo relationship with each other. The Earth's great landmasses joined together about 800 million years ago into a supercontinent known as Rhodina, only to split into a gazillion fragments. Then, around 250 to 500 million years ago, the fragments bumped violently into each other. This led to the creation of the mighty Appalachian and Ural mountain ranges. Wow, explosive! You'd think that's where the chaos would end, but turns out there were 2 more rounds to go. Pangaea was yet another supercontinent that came into being 250 million years ago. It broke into 2 ginormous landmasses which further split into the continents we know and love today. Woo! Earth's history will freeze you in your tracks. You might have heard of hell freezing over, but our planet also has a pretty frosty track record. In what is identified as the snowball Earth theory, the third rock from the sun might have gone through a cycle of freezing and thawing as many as 4 times in its history. Just thinking about it is making us shiver. Brr! The mysterious formation of the moon. Wait till we tell you the fascinating tale of how the moon came into being. The process is both enthralling and unreal. When the Earth was taking its baby steps towards evolving, it suffered a forceful contact by a massive body almost the size of Mars. The catastrophic event produced a beautiful result. Newton's third law of motion can be clearly seen in action here. Every action generates a reaction that is opposite and equal. That's it for the science lesson here today. Back to our drift. The result of the impact was earth-shattering, and shards of the Earth's mantle bounced into space. Gravity came into play, and the pieces then came into union, creating the moon. Astounding! The origins of wonderful water. The traffic of asteroids and comets has thinned out considerably in the solar system in our current times. However, when the planets were in their infancy, celestial bodies such as comets and asteroids were sprinkled across the solar system in vast numbers. In fact, that is how the H2O on our planet kinda got dumped when the comets and asteroids banged into Earth, as they carried sufficient water in their minerals. The Earth's atmosphere. Now, if you had done meditation or deep breathing exercises in the Earth's early atmosphere, oxygen might not have been available to you. Whoa! That's because the Earth's initial atmosphere was nothing like it is today. Initially, the atmosphere was made up of hydrogen and helium. It was only when the volcanoes developed and sprang into action that water vapor got released in the atmosphere, along with ammonia and carbon dioxide. The Earth slowly started to morph into what it is today. It began with water bodies such as oceans coming into existence with the birth of primitive forms of life. Who would have thought that our planet had to undergo so many massive changes to become what it is today? Was the Earth initially purple? It's bizarre, we know, but don't shoot the idea down immediately. Just hear us out. There's actually a scientific theory that backs this idea. It all boils down to a molecule known as the retinol. It is believed that microbes in the Earth's very distant past use retinol and not chlorophyll to soak up the sun's rays. What's peculiar about retinol is that it sops up green light and reflects a purple hue, as in a combo of blue and red. So yes, for all we know, the Earth very well could have been purple. Awesome! So how old is planet Earth? Well, we can't give you an exact figure for how many birthdays our planet has had, but we do know that there is a formula to calculate Earth's present age. Sounds complicated? Not necessarily. See, scientific methods revolve around doing some number crunching to work out a timeline that marks the development of lead isotopes in Earth's most ancient ores. According to this calculation, our planet is approximately 4.54 billion years old. If that doesn't put you in awe, we don't know what will. 4.54 billion years old and still going strong. And finally, how old is life on our planet? There is no set formula for this one, but according to estimates, organisms could have emerged on the planet as long as 4 billion years ago. Granted, the organisms might have a simpler makeup than today's evolved species. Bacteria are believed to have come into creation about 3.5 billion years ago. Fascinating. Thanks for watching this video, and we hope you learned something new. Please like and subscribe for more, and leave a comment below for anything you would like to see in the future.